Thomas Edison. You hear that name and you probably think genius, right? You picture this lone inventor, a light bulb suddenly flashing on above his head. But what if I told you that the popular image we have of Edison is mostly a myth? Well, in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on the much more complex and honestly, way more fascinating reality. So let's just dive right in with the big question. If his greatest invention wasn't the light bulb, then what was it? That's what we're tackling today. We're going to peel back the layers of the legend to find the brilliant, shrewd businessman underneath and the truly world-changing innovation he created.
You know, it really all comes back to this one famous quote. And for Edison, this wasn't just some catchy phrase. It was his entire philosophy. It's the absolute key to understanding his real impact. Not some single magical flash of genius, but relentless, systematic hard work, perspiration.
Okay, so first, let's talk about the legend that everybody knows. Before he was this powerful industrialist, he was known as the Wizard of Menlo Park. He was seen as this almost magical figure who just seemed to pull incredible inventions right out of thin air. And this number? This is a huge part of that legend. 1,093 U.S. patents. I mean, just think about that. That sheer volume is what cemented his image as America's greatest, most prolific inventor. It's an absolutely staggering figure, and it became the foundation of his fame.
And just look at the list of his work. It's wild. We're talking about recorded sound with the phonograph, electric light for the entire planet, the very beginnings of movies. He wasn't just making little tweaks to existing stuff, he was literally creating entirely new industries from scratch.
But that heroic story of the lone wizard in his lab, that isn't the whole picture, not even close. To get to the truth, we have to look past the man himself and look at his method, the invention factory.
In this right here, this slide gets to the very heart of it. The myth is the lone genius in some quiet, solitary workshop. But the reality? Menlo Park was a huge, sprawling, industrial research and development lab. Edison's real genius wasn't just in having ideas. It was in organizing the process of invention on a massive scale.
And here is the most crucial point. Edison was not working alone. He put together these amazing teams of brilliant minds, people like William Dixon, who led his motion picture work, and his chief assistant, Charles Batchelor. His true genius was in directing the collective brainpower of his muckers, the army of researchers who were turning his vision into reality.
So you've built this incredible invention factory. Now what? How do you make money from it? Well, for Edison, the answer was to stop just inventing products and start controlling entire industries. And to do that, he could be absolutely ruthless.
Nothing shows this side of him better than the War of the Currents. This was an all-out corporate war against George Westinghouse. And the prize? The electrical standard for the entire United States. Edison was pushing his direct current, or DC system. But Westinghouse had a more efficient system, alternating current, or AC.
And Edison fought dirty. He launched this huge propaganda campaign to convince the public that AC was deadly, making these terrifying statements like the one you see here. He even participated in public demonstrations where animals were electrocuted with AC power, all to scare people. This wasn't just business, it was warfare.
And he used that same aggressive logic when it came to the brand new film industry. In 1908, he formed the Motion Picture Patents Company, which everyone just called the Edison Trust. He used his key patents on film technology to create this powerful group that controlled everything: the cameras, the projectors, even the film itself.
But here's the incredible irony in all this. To escape the Trust's iron grip on the East Coast, independent filmmakers fled as far away as they could, to a sleepy little town in Southern California. Yep, in his attempt to completely monopolize the film industry, Edison inadvertently created his greatest competitor, Hollywood.
So what shaped this incredibly complex person? How did a boy with almost no formal schooling become this global icon of innovation? Well, it turns out that some of the things people saw as his weaknesses were actually his greatest strengths.
Edison started having serious hearing problems when he was about 12, but later in life, he said he actually saw it as an advantage. He truly believed his deafness helped him concentrate with an intensity that other people couldn't, shutting out all the distractions of the world so he could focus entirely on the problem he was trying to solve.
This whole systematic approach, this 99% perspiration idea, was taught to him when he was really young. After a teacher basically called him stupid, his mother pulled him out of school and taught him herself. and she gave him these 4 pillars, which really became the foundation for his entire life. Embrace failure, read everything, value working with your hands, and never, ever stop learning.
All right, so we've looked at the myth, the manager, the ruthless businessman, and the man himself. Now we can finally put all the pieces together and figure out what Edison's true legacy really is. Which brings us all the way back to our very first question. After all of this, if it wasn't the light bulb, or the phonograph, or the movie camera, then what on earth was it?
This was it. His greatest invention wasn't a thing you can hold, it was a system. It was the modern research and development lab, a factory designed for one purpose, to mass-produce inventions.
And this slide really shows you his true, lasting impact. Edison created the blueprint for how to turn ideas into products that people would actually buy. You bring a bunch of different experts together, you give them a commercial goal, and you fund their experiments. That model, the Industrial Research Lab, is the foundation that nearly every major tech company, from Bell Labs all the way to Google, was built on. He didn't just invent products, he invented the very process of modern innovation.
So that really leaves us with one final thought. Our culture, we love the myth of the lone genius, right? But Edison's story kind of forces us to ask a different question. What does it really mean to be an inventor? Is it about having that one brilliant flash of insight? Or is it about being the master organizer who builds the engine that can turn thousands of ideas into reality? If you enjoyed digging into this stuff with us, hitting that like button and subscribing really is the best way to let us know. It helps our channel grow and lets us keep making more explainers just like this one. Thanks for watching.